Hello everyone, welcome back to the Budget Sportsman. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Panther Quick Climb, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and review on this system. This is a climbing system and a platform all in one made for saddle hunting. Now, in a moment, we're going to take it outside. We're going to show you how to use it on a tree. But before we do, I want to give you a couple of thoughts on this platform in here before we even do that. And so one of the things that I want to mention is anytime a platform like this comes up on social media, I'm sure it will be in the comments here, the comments all say that platform is only good if you want to climb straight trees with no limbs. And there is an element of truth to that. However, with a traditional climber like a lot of us have been using in the past, like my Summit climber, I would never dream of going around the limbs. However, this system here is much more portable, much easier to use, and it's got some unique features that really make it possible to be able to go around tree limbs relatively easily. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be able to get in any tree like you might with other climbing systems, but I think it is a lot more versatile than some people give it credit for. So the next thing that I want to address is the cost and the weight comparison, and even compared to some other products on the market. In saddle hunting, there's a direct correlation between very expensive products that are very lightweight and trying to save some money but ending up with some heavier products. And so let's find out how this compares. This Panther platform is $400, and when I weigh it on my scales, it comes in at right about 6.8, 6.9 pounds. That includes the platform, the band that goes around the tree, and the included 3-step aider. Now, you can probably see this is a pretty sizable platform here, much bigger than the traditional platform that a lot of people are going to hunt off of. Now, again, this is a climbing platform, so you're going to put it on the tree at the base of the tree and use it to climb up the tree. And typically, you're going to have this center post folded down. When you get to hunting height, you're going to put it up, and you're going to strap this to the tree and get a good solid lock on the tree using the included cam buckle strap. This strap weighs another 5.5, 6 ounces, bringing the total to right around 7.25 pounds. Now, if I'm being honest, the $400 price tag for a 7.25 pound system kind of surprised me. I thought maybe it was a little bit too much weight for the price that you're paying, but then I started to compare to some other products, and I think you might find it interesting. So traditionally, I have been a stick and platform kind of saddle hunter. That's what I'm most comfortable with and what I know best. So let's compare some of those systems to the Panther Quick Climb. Right here are the XOP X2 sticks. These, I think, are sort of a middle of the ground type of stick. They are not the lightest, nor are they the heaviest. They're not the cheapest, nor are they the most expensive. Really a good middle ground kind of setup. These 4 sticks are going to cost you $180, and you throw in the XOP Invader platform, it's also $180. So you're at $360, just $40 cheaper than the Panther Quick Climb. But this setup right here is going to be 10.6 pounds for a 4-pack and platform, and that doesn't even count an attachment method for the sticks. So at that point, you're looking at well over 3 pounds extra, 3.25 pounds extra, but you're only saving $40 over the price of the Panther Quick Climb. Next up, let's take a look at the Tethered 1 sticks. These sticks are much more premium, they are lighter, but they are more expensive. A 3-pack of Tethered 1 sticks is $350. Now, throw in a tethered platform. I've got the Tethered Predator platform here, and all told, you're now at $530, and you're coming in right about 7.3 pounds. So you're very comparable to the 7.2 pounds of the Quick Climb, but you spend $130 more. And again, keep in mind that that's only a 3-pack of these sticks, not a 4-pack. If you wanted a 4-pack, throw in another $125 and an extra pound. So the final comparison that I wanted to make are with the more premium tree sticks. These are very nice, very expensive, but very lightweight. Each stick weighs under 1 pound, and the total 4-pack weighs an ounce or 2 less than 4 pounds. Now, I don't have one, but one of the lightest platforms, that's sort of the traditional shape and style of platform that I know of, is the Hunt Arsenal Razor. It's advertised at 2 pounds, 2 ounces. So you add the 2 pounds, 2 ounces to the just under 4 pounds here, and you're right at 6 pounds for your entire climbing system and platform. Now, at 6 pounds, you're 1.25 pounds less than the Panther Quick Climb. However, you would have had to spend nearly $900 to get that system. That's more than double the cost of the Panther Quick Climb to save 1.25 pounds. Now, there is one more comparison that I want to make because I know how popular the one-stick climbing method is. To me, it's pretty obvious that when you compare the Panther Quick Climb to sticks and a platform, you're going to be able to save some weight off of a lot of those systems without spending as much money as the really premium sticks and platform, and there's some advantages with this climbing system as well. But when you compare it to the one-sticking method, I do think that a lot of those one-sticks on the market are going to be lighter than the Panther Quick Climb at a similar or even cheaper price point. Now, with all that rambling out of the way, let's take this thing outside, put it on a tree, and I'll give you some more thoughts about this system. So now that we're outside, let's talk about how to put this thing onto the tree, how to climb, and some of the unique features of this platform. First of all, you're going to see that this platform has this smooth, flat band, and this is, to me, an amazing feature of this platform. If you've ever used a Summit Climber, it has like the cable, and then it has those knobs on it, and you've got to kind of like feed them down through and get them to catch. I just am not a fan of that system at all. They're always catching. They're kind of frustrating. The Panther platform here uses this flat band, and you can probably see it slides in and out super easily. It just kind of glides in and out. I will say when you get on really tiny diameter trees, it's kind of putting pressure on it that it starts to bind up a little bit. But overall, on these average diameter trees, this thing just glides in and out with absolutely no issue at all. Now, on the sides, you're going to get these two locking pins. On one side, you're going to get a straight spring-loaded pin. You pull it out, and it just slides right back in. The problem with that pin is that when you want to adjust, you have to use two hands. You have to hold the pin out and then adjust, or you can try to do some kind of like goofy thing and hold it. But on the other side, what they've done is they've used a locking pin. So if you have it straight, it does the same thing. It just pulls out and then spring loads back in. But if you pull it out and turn it a quarter of a turn, it locks in the out position, allowing you to slide this in and out with one hand and then close the locking pin over here. Really, really sweet design. It's going to make a huge difference when it comes to going around limbs or even adjusting the angle of the platform as you climb, or even right now getting to put it on the tree. So I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to twist it a quarter of a turn to lock it in the out position, open up my band, and then I'm going to go ahead and just swing my band around the back side of the tree and then feed it in. And now I am going to be a little bit careful here as I do this, not to just allow it to snap into place without controlling it, because it does make a pretty audible click if you do that. Let me show you. If I just slide the band in and let it self-locate into the hole, it is going to make a pretty audible click. But if you're careful, you can guide that into place and keep it from making that audible click. Now, once you get the platform on the tree, you're probably going to realize for the first time why Panther included this 3-step aider. If you've ever used a climbing platform or climbing tree stand before, then you know that you've got to account for the taper of the tree. Right now, you can probably see that this platform is angled up a little bit, but as I climb and the tree diameter gets smaller, this is going to actually fall down and come much closer to level. Now, if you are familiar with this kind of climbing system, then you know that the worst part is that right at the base of the tree, there's often a bell. It really flares out. And so you can end up having to have your platform at a very, very steep angle in order to get up past that bell and account for the angle. Here, the idea is that you can start this up here at, say, chest high, and right now the bottom of this aider is about knee height. So I can start up here, chest almost shoulder high, still get into that aider, climb up, and get on top of my platform and climb from there without having to play with that bell of the tree so much. Now, I'm going to show you this in a minute, but I also really like this platform because it is possible to adjust the angle as you climb, something that I was never comfortable doing on a climbing tree stand. All right, so if you're not already familiar with how to use a climbing tree stand or a climbing saddle platform, let me go ahead and show you how to use this. Now, people are going to have a different tolerance of safety than maybe I do. Personally, I like to be tied in as soon as I leave the ground. So I've already put my tether on, or actually in this case, my rappel rope. I've got the platform angled up a little bit to account for the taper of the tree as I go up. And I've got my platform right now at probably about chest high, and I'm going to climb up the aider. Now, this is the point in the system where you are going to introduce the most slack because you're making the biggest move without moving that aider. Now, I can bring this up with my Mad Rock and try to keep as much that slack out as I can. But right here, if I have a fall, I still got some slack. That tether point is below me. Then once I climb up on the platform, I'm just going to move this rope up as high as I can go. I'm going to get it really above head height if I can. It's going to make this a lot easier. And then I'm going to take out all of the slack that I can and sit down in my saddle. Now there's 2 bars here on the platform for me to stick my feet under. I'm going to wedge them in and angle them out to the side. That's going to lock the platform to my feet. And then I'm just going to point my toes down, lift up on my feet, and then lift my toes back up again, and my platform has made my first move. At that point, I'm just gonna move my rope up as high as I can again. You can probably see I'm standing on my tippy toes to get the most room I can out of it. I'm gonna tighten my tether, sit back down to my platform, wedge my toes in there again, point my toes down, lift, point my toes back up, and I've made another move. Now there are two ways to come back down out of the tree with this climbing system. The first is to come down just the way that you went up if you want to use a standard tether, and that is lower your tether a little bit, sit down into your saddle, point your toes down, lower your feet, bring your toes back up, put weight on your heels, and repeat the process. Now the second option is if you're like me and you like to rappel no matter how you climb the tree, then when you're done hunting, you just take the platform off the tree and rappel to the ground. All right, so once you get to hunting height, you are going to want to strap this down with the included cam buckle strap, just like you would a typical saddle platform. So I'm going to go ahead and lower myself down here on my tether where I can get down here, reach and work. And I'm going to get out my cam buckle strap. I'm going to put it here on the button. And depending on the size of the tree, you're probably going to be tempted to go under the back band there, the tree band. But it's been recommended to me to go above it and just go as close as you can above that band. Bring it around the front, hook the other loop on, and tighten the strap. Now, you're probably thinking, how do I cam this like a traditional platform to make sure it's nice and tight? Well, I'm going to lift back up on my tether here. I'm going to put my feet back in the bars to be able to move the platform, angle my toes down, push down on the platform, and then put my weight back into it. That's pulled that strap nice and tight. So now I've got it cammed in, it's very solid. And one of the things you're probably wondering is how does it do on side pressure? Well, you can see I'm all the way in the back corner here pushing out, and it's doing really good. Everything is really, really solid, and I'm really impressed. This is a very solid platform once you have it cammed down to the tree. Now there are a couple more unique features of this platform that I'd like to point out. First of all, there's a variety of positions for your feet. It's a plenty big platform to just stand up and take a load off your saddle for a while, or even turn around to make that weak side shot. It's a very nice, generous sized platform. But on the other hand, I also prefer a platform that is angled down. It's much more comfortable for my feet and my ankles. And this platform kind of offers that same idea by putting your toes up on these foot bars and getting that same sort of an angled feel. Now, if I'm being honest, it does provide a little bit more of hot spots. It's not as much even weight distribution, but it is a nice alternative. Now, you can also come all the way out here to the tubes that support the tree band, and you get a little bit more even weight distribution across your whole foot and still get that angled position. So there are a number of different places that you can put your foot for variety and just changing it up throughout the course of a hunt for that maximum comfort. Now, another feature that you're going to notice is right here in the middle of the platform, there is this football-shaped hole. And this is absolutely incredible for pushing off of to make those different shots around the tree. There's absolutely no way that your foot's going to slip out of there. It's locked in place. You're not going to slip off on an outer edge, anything like that. And it really works good to push around the tree for those various shots. It's one of my favorite features of this platform. All right, so I mentioned earlier in the video that it was possible to go around limbs with the Panther Quick Climb, and I want to show you how to do that now. And this is where that lockout pin is going to come incredibly handy because you're only going to need one hand. I don't want to be too low down to the platform, but I want to make sure that I can easily reach down and grab that pin. I'm going to pull it out, twist it that quarter of a turn so that I can pull the band out with one hand. There, I've pulled my band out. Now I can lift my feet up closer to me. And in this case, it actually works out really good because I can even support it on that tree limb. You might not always be able to do that. Put the band back in, lock the pin in place, and I'm ready to keep climbing on the top side of this limb. Now, what's interesting is this is also the method that you would use if you didn't properly account for the taper of the tree and maybe your platform started to angle down too much and you needed to make an adjustment. That's kind of the situation that I have here. It's angling down and I want to be able to adjust it up to continue to climb. So I'm just going to pull up, angle my toes down, reach over, turn that knob till it locks, push in a little bit more band, and find a new hole. And now I'm level, if not even angled up just a touch. Next up, let's talk for a minute about the size of trees that this platform is going to fit. Right here, you can see I've got it on a very small tree. This is about 5 inches in diameter, and I'm on the smallest holes of the band, and it fits. The platform is relatively level. However, you couldn't climb a tree that was 5 inches in diameter at the bottom because as the tree gets narrower going up, you would end up with a platform that was angled down in weird ways, and it just simply wouldn't work as it was supposed to. So this is just sort of a point of reference of how small this can go, but I certainly wouldn't want to actually try to climb a tree quite this small. All right, so here you can see that I've got the platform on a much larger diameter tree. This is about 16 or 17 inches in diameter, and you can probably see that the platform is angled up. Now, the standard band that comes with the Panther platform is 52 inches in length, and Panther advertises that you're going to be able to climb a tree from 9 inches to 18 inches in diameter. We're pretty close to 18 inches here, not quite, but you're going to be able to tell that you're not going to be able to hunt a tree that's 18 inches in diameter at hunting height, but you can start with a tree that's probably pretty close to 18 inches, and your platform's going to level out as you get up there. There is an upgraded band available. It's a 60-inch band, so that's 8 inches longer. And then Panther advertises that on that band, you can climb trees up to 21 inches in diameter. All right, so we're back inside for me to give you the pros and cons of the Panther Quick Climb. I've given you a lot of information, but now I want to give you sort of my personal opinions on the pros and cons from my experience with the Panther Quick Climb so far. Starting with the pros, the first thing that I really want to mention here is that price to weight ratio. Now, I'm not saying this is super budget friendly. The $400 is a little bit of a sticker shock. But when you start comparing to some of the lightweight sticks and platforms on the market, it is comparable, if not even a cheaper way to cut a lot of weight. And if you're coming from something like a summit climber where maybe you have a 20 to 22 pound climber, but you want to come over to this system, to go down to a 7-pound system is automatically a much more mobile and lightweight system to get you into saddle hunting. Now, the second pro for me is ease of use. Again, if you come from a climber background, this is going to be very familiar to you. I would be willing to say that if you've got trees that are relatively straight, this is even easier than sticks on a platform. And I have tried one sticking in the past, and I really don't enjoy it. You've got to sort of hang upside down to get your stick from underneath you. And yeah, I don't know, I just don't enjoy it. With this, your feet are always solidly on the platform. It's very comfortable, easy to climb. And so that's my second pro. Number 3 is that it's very solid on the tree. This is well built. Everything is very solid. The way that you kind of move the platform down and then cam it into place makes it very, very solid on the tree, and I really, really like that. Right along with that, I would say is platform space. You've got a lot of space on this platform to stand up, to turn around, and then along with that as well is this football-shaped hole right here in the middle. That is a perfect place to put your feet and move around the tree. So all of that kind of combines to say it's a really positive experience as a platform once you're at hunting height. The next pro that I would give is that there is really no height restriction with the Panther platform or other similar climbing systems. When you hunt with climbing sticks, you're limited by the number of sticks that you carried with you that day, and what you have is what you have. With this system, you're only really limited by the tree, maybe the branches or whys in the tree or where the canopy is, but you're not really limited by the number of sticks you brought. You can just keep climbing. Now, one limitation is if you're like me and you like to rappel, you are going to want to consider how much rappel rope you carry. But I've been consistently able to get to 25 feet in the tree and have plenty of rappel rope, whereas with sticks and a platform, I'm typically hunting more like 16 to 18 feet. Again, I mentioned earlier that you can climb back down the same way you climbed up. So even if you run out of rappel rope, you could climb much higher than 25 feet and just climb back down until you get to the place where your rappel rope is going to get you to the ground. Now, the final pro that I'm going to give today is speed of getting up in the tree. Recently, I went and timed myself climbing a tree. I walked up to the tree with the platform in one hand and my saddle and ropes in the other hand, not wearing anything, nothing on the tree. I started the timer. It took me about 3 minutes to put on my saddle and to put the platform on the tree. It took me about another 3 minutes to climb 25 feet up in the tree, and it took about 1.5 minutes for me to get the strap on the tree and everything situated appropriately. That's 7.5 minutes from walking up to the tree with nothing on the tree to completely ready to go with the platform completely strapped down and cammed into the tree. That's pretty quick, and I think it's going to get even quicker with experience. I will be fair and say that was a tree with no limbs. It is going to slow you down a little bit if you have to go around limbs. All right, now I have to be fair and say there are a couple of cons with this platform. Number one is that this angle right here is fixed. This does not fold. This is how you're going to have to carry it into the woods. Now, you could take the band out if you wanted to make it a little bit more compact or adjust how much of the band is in these tubes. But basically, you're going to have the thickness of this platform here, and that's how you're going to carry it into the woods. Now, I say it's a con while full well knowing it's kind of a necessary evil. Recently, I tried the Osprey platform as well, which is a similar climbing platform, and their platform does fold flat. Unfortunately, there's way more moving parts, And there were some real drawbacks of the way they did that system. And personally, I prefer the fact that this has a fixed angle and that it is way more solid on the tree. The whole system is way more solid, less moving parts, and I prefer that. However, it is a little bit of a con when it comes to transportation. This isn't just going to fit in the meat shelf of my Mystery Ranch backpack like other climbing methods that I typically use. It's going to have to hang on the outside somehow. If you wanted to put backpack straps on this, if you are minimalist and you don't carry a lot of stuff into the woods, you could put backpack straps on this, hanging on your back, wear your saddle, put your bow in your hand and be ready to go hunting. And that'd be a pretty sweet setup. But if you are like me and you carry a backpack full of stuff, you're going to have to figure out how to strap this to the backpack. And that size is going to be a little bit of a negative. Now, the next con that I want to give is probably my biggest one actually, and maybe should have been first, and that is that there's no leveling bolt for the upright pillar here when you use this as a platform. Now, depending on the size of the tree or the angle of the tree, it's not going to matter. But one day I was on a tree that was leaning a little bit and I ended up with a platform that was angled up, and that's not very comfortable on the feet. Now, fortunately, you do have these other positions to put your feet, which kind of help to offset that. But I personally would prefer if I had the ability to adjust that angle and get the perfect angle on the tree. I'm really hoping that maybe in the future they'll come out with a version that does have a leveling bolt. That's one of the big cons for me. All right, so my next con is going to sound a little bit contradictory, and that's because earlier I mentioned that the price to weight ratio was one of my pros. And I think overall this is a relatively lightweight, very mobile system for hunting. However, I do wish it was a little bit lighter, especially when we compare to the one-stick method. This is noticeably heavier than one-stick method, and both of those methods are a single device that's your climbing method and your platform. So I do wish it was a little bit lighter. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can at least shave off a couple of ounces if you are really worried about it. Number one is you could take off the included 3-step aider. Now, this is a part that is kind of handy. It helps you get up over the bell of the tree, like I mentioned earlier. And it's also useful for going around limbs. I didn't mention that when we were outside, but in addition to the way that I showed you to go around a limb, you could also basically rappel down or lower yourself on your tether down below the point of your platform, and then you'd be able to work with both hands or even use your knees to support the platform while you move it up above the branch. At that point, however, you would need the 3-step aider to climb back up on the platform. However, if you find yourself not using it a whole lot or finding it not that necessary, you could take it off and save yourself somewhere around 3.5 to 4 ounces. Now, another option would be to use some sort of an am steel attachment method rather than using the cam buckle. And this only weighs 2 ounces, so that's going to save you another 3.5 to 4 ounces over the cam buckle. And I haven't tested this extensively, but I did try it out and seemed to be able to still get the platform pretty solid on the tree. If you took off both of those things, you'd be saving somewhere between 7 and 8 ounces. And your total setup then would be down around 6 3/4 pounds, at least on my scales. All right, so what are my final thoughts on the Panther Quick Climb platform? Well, I think your decision to purchase this is really largely going to be dependent on your style, and more importantly than your style, the trees that you have in your area. While you can go around limbs, if you've got trees that have limbs sticking out all over the place, this probably isn't going to be your first choice. If you have a lot of trees that are tall, fairly straight, and maybe only have a few limbs, then I think this is going to be an awesome choice. Now, overall, I have really enjoyed using the Panther Quick Climb to climb myself, and I'm really looking forward to putting it to use in the upcoming hunting season. So with all of that said, why don't you let me know what you think of the Panther Quick Climb down in the comments, and until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors into God's great creation.